well-made risotto is a culinary feat. The most important tips to remember are to use a very good quality arborio rice, an Italian short grain rice, and to slowly simmer it while stirring. Do not rush the process. It takes approximately 18 minutes, and you really can't go anywhere when you're making risotto. You have to stay right near the stove. So the first thing to do is make the correct broth. You can use chicken stock, you can use wine, you can use water, combination of both. I'm using 3½ cups of water and 3½ cups of a rich homemade chicken stock, to which I am going to add some aromatics, a half of an onion, that can just go right in, a stalk of celery, some parsley, a carrot, the leaves of the celery, anything that will flavor this stock, give it a little bit more elegance, and 1 garlic clove smashed. Bring that to a simmer, and then you prepare your rice. Heat 3 tablespoons of olive oil in a pan. Add the other half of the onion and stir until the onion is translucent. The first recorded recipes for risotto are in the mid-19th century in Italy, and they did use the starchy short-grained rice called arborio. I love this rice. And do not wash it. You want the starchy result. This is coated with a layer of starch around the kernel of the rice. And once the onion is translucent, you add 1 cup of rice and stir until the grains become translucent. The initial toasting of the rice, which is what I'm doing right now, loosens the starch that is in each of the grains to form the intrinsic creaminess and enables each grain to absorb the hot liquid that we're going to start spooning in. Now, a lot of chefs have figured out a way to pre-cook or par-cook risotto, refrigerate the rice, and then finish it off right before a serving in a restaurant. And it works very nicely. So you can experiment and you can make risotto for a crowd, but it's best if you make it in 1 or 2 cup increments too. A big pot of risotto doesn't work as well as a smaller amount. So now before it starts to brown, add 1/3 of a cup of dry white wine. And just keep stirring and cook until absorbed. Oh, see, now it's starting to get a little bit dry, and you add a ladle of liquid. This is the flavorful stock that we simmered for 30 minutes. Stir. The rice absorbs and absorbs and absorbs, and when it stops, you've added enough liquid. Risotto is just an elegant dish. My favorite risotto of all time, tartufi bianchi, which is white truffle risotto with salt and Parmesan cheese. Oh. Make sure that the stock is simmering hot while you're adding it to the rice, and don't try to rush the process. So enjoy your cappuccino while you stir, 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 or a glass of nice white wine. It is cooking nicely. You can see that the rice has plumped, the liquid is thickening, and risotto is forming. If you were adding vegetables to the risotto, you would pre-cook the asparagus, the peas, the mushrooms, and then you would add those close to the end of the cooking process. Well, it's looking very good. The rice is very, very fluffy, very creamy liquid. Now turn it down to as low as you can. And now I'm going to chop up a little bit of flat leaf parsley. I love to add Italian parsley to my risotto. And Parmesan cheese and butter. Okay. And now 2 tablespoons of butter. What you want is like a thick but luscious porridge. The Italians call it all'ondo, which means like waves when it flops into a plate. And now's the time for flavoring with salt and pepper. You don't want to put too much salt because you're going to add Parmesan cheese, which may be salty. And add up to half a cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. That looks like a goodly amount of Parmesan cheese. Sprinkling of parsley. Spoon it right into a wide, shallow bowl like this, flowing into the plate like a beautiful porridge. Like waves, it's just flowing nicely into the bowl. And there you have a very luscious, creamy, tender risotto. You could put a little bit more parsley right in the center. And if you want, a tiny drizzle of the very best olive oil. Risotto at its best.